Welcome, Chicago. My name's David Robinson. I'm your host for another episode of Manufacturing TV, brought to you by Manufacturing Renaissance, where we bring you all the news that's fit to talk about in manufacturing and manufacturing industry, training, education, and all things manufacturing. We have a great lineup today of guests, and hopefully you'll enjoy what we're able to present today. So let me introduce our guests. First, I want to welcome Mieka Matthews.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're able to join us. And our special guest from the manufacturing world, JT Belknap. Thank you for coming out.
Thanks for having me, David.
Excellent, excellent. So let's start with you, JT. So tell us about your company. Tell us what you make. How'd you get into manufacturing?
Sure.
Give us a little bit on that.
Sure. Yeah. So currently, I started a company called Dfm Tool Works. We make woodworking tools, mostly hand tools, and it was kind of I didn't wake up one morning and say I wanted to make hand tools, but what it was is I was a consultant prior to becoming a manufacturing leader again, and what I was looking to do is to sell things online while I did consulting at the same time, so that I would have a more even income. So as a consultant,
kind of a home-based business that sort of grew into a real.
Yeah, well, it was based out of a place called M-Hub, which is a product development space here in Chicago, and I had access to what was a CNC router, which would make. At the time, I was making little wooden grill scrapers. It looks like a spatula, but you use it to clean your grill.
I see.
And I found that through searching data on Amazon.
Interesting.
So, and then I posted that wooden grill scraper onto Instagram, and that's when I discovered the niche of woodworking tools, because I had all these woodworkers giving me all these really nice compliments around how great my scraper looked. And then I did a little more due diligence on woodworking in general and learned that people are buying very nice tools. And I have some expertise in making things. So,
excellent. Well,
yeah.
you brought a couple of tools. Let's take a look at them. Can you walk us through some of what we're looking at here?
Yeah. So right here is what we call our small square, and what a lot of people use it for is to check the squareness of their woodworking projects. So maybe the inside of a picture frame or in a cabinet. And so this is handy because people like to stick it in their pocket. We won't switch camera angles, but people like that it's very portable.
Sure.
And they can just carry it in their shop apron or their pocket.
And what's that made of? It looks like an alloy?
It's made out of aluminum,
okay.
And then it's anodized blue. And so another fun thing, I didn't bring all the colors today, but I do offer 7 different colors on Amazon. So people can get gold, green, pink, purple, orange,
so
and
accessorize your tools.
Well, some people are big sports fans, so if you're a Bears fan, you can get this blue and you can get an orange one and kind of represent your city.
Let's close in on that a little bit and tell us what makes this more special, say, than something you might get in.
So I'll try to lift it up, but you could see that there's that tiny little hole in the middle here.
Right.
And people use that with a mechanical pencil to do what's called center finding. So what they'll do is that I didn't bring the other pin for this, but basically you can use this to find the center of a piece of wood, and then you can mark it using this center hole here.
I see.
So I'll flip it over just so people can understand. So that's where your pencil comes out.
Excellent.
So that's what makes this one a little different. And then
so measure twice, cut once is really specifically activate with this sort of thing. This really helps you zero in on the accuracy.
Yeah, for sure.
And let's see. So fascinating stuff. Now you have a couple of other items too. You've got are those scrapers or are those knives? What are those?
These are called marking knives.
Okay.
So this is a marking knife, and then this is also a marking knife. I haven't sharpened the edges just yet, but
Let's zoom in on this one, because there are some ridges and there's some, why don't you
Yeah.
take a look at that one?
sure, we can move it into the
Move it in the center there. Now,
Yeah.
what's what is all of this extra ridging here? And
So part of it, what it is a lot of these knives are typically made using what's called a surface grinder, and that's what makes this shiny area here. And the reason I have these ridges is I'm using a CNC mill to make these ridges. So I'm not using a traditional method of making these knives. Most of these knives are used with only a surface grinder. These are made with a CNC mill first.
yeah, and that's a computer numerically controlled device, computer programmer that allows you to very, very accurately design exactly what you want to make, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so what it allows me to do is make different variations. So I started with the same piece of steel for both of these. These both start out as a 7-inch by 3/4-inch wide piece of steel. And then the machine will run this program to make this shape, and then run this separate program to make this shape.
I see.
Sometimes right next to each other, so I can have this running and this running in the machine at the same time.
Outstanding. And then it will, depending on how you program it and how you position it in the machine, you'll get a perfect product at the end of the process.
I will get a very consistent product.
Okay, good, good.
The beauty of CNC and automation is it will do exactly what you tell it to do. So if I tell it the wrong thing, it'll
It'll do the wrong
make the
thing.
wrong thing.
Yep.
So there's definitely a lot of iterations to make these. You know, I probably broke several tools when I started making this.
Fascinating. So that's an excellent segue then to our next guest, because it obviously takes a measure of skill training and a measure of understanding of all of this in order to be successful at making products like
Yes.
this.
Yes.
So, Mieka, you're in the training business, is that right?
Yes, I am.
Tell me a little bit about what you do, about your organization, and why this is important in terms of the kind of training that they're getting.
Gotcha. So I'm the program coordinator for the Manufacturing Connect program at Austin College and Career Academy on the west side of Chicago. Manufacturing Connect has been partnering with Chicago Public Schools for over 10 years to provide in-school youth with the opportunity for paid work experiences, training for industry credentials, leadership development, along with college and career counseling. A lot of the students in our program are enrolled in a machine shop course where they can learn how to work those CNC machines and to be able to make things like this as well as in our machine shop. So
Excellent. So let's pause and take a look at, you had an intern, JT.
Yes.
One of our students, in fact, one of the
That's
students
right.
at Manufacturing Connect. Let's take a look at what he's doing, and if you can tell us,
Sure. So James is running our bandsaw, or horizontal saw here, and he's cutting stock to then actually make this small square that we just looked at. So that bar then gets converted into, I believe, 8 of these little squares. So each one of those bars, so he's making 8 at a time in that process, and then that bar that he's cutting off will go into the CNC mill next.
outstanding.
So
Fascinating. So here's a kind of another picture of,
that's a great photo of what we have here in the studio.
so
And
this
James
is, yeah.
designed that.
And James did this.
He did it.
Outstanding.
So with some direction, he made the packaging for that square on our CNC router. It's a kind of a home-based machine, so it's a machine that you can buy for about $2,000. And it fits on this desk. It could fit on this table here. And the reason we started off with that is it's a lower risk for me, and it also allows James to be a little more independent because, you know, if he makes a mistake, that's okay because he's cutting foam, but the same principles apply when you're cutting metal.
Right.
So it was a good way for me to allow him to have some independence as an intern. Where once we kind of went over how the machine worked and certainly reviewed all the safety, after the first couple iterations, then he was able to then go and run the machine completely by himself, and he still does today.
Outstanding.
So
Mieka, James is one of how many young people that you normally serve over at Manufacturing Connect? I've heard 150, 200. I've heard over the years up to 600 have come through the program.
Yes, so we've had quite a few students come through the program and become success stories for the program. Of this year, James is one of our proudest students. He's currently a senior, one of 30, I believe, seniors in our program at Austin College and Career Academy. So through the years, he's participated in various work experiences, being one at DMF Tool that he really enjoys, that he goes to after school. So it's a good experience for him.
Now, as I understand it, the young people earn industry-recognized certifications. Is that true? Tell me about that.
Yes, so at our machine shop in our school, the students have the option to earn up to 5 industry credentials. NIMS credentials are credentials for the National Institute of Metalworking Skills. These are credentials that students earn and can go across the country and work in manufacturing jobs and can show that they have the necessary skills to operate various machines. We offer some of the basic like MMS, measurement, materials, and safety. So a student that possesses that knows a lot about measurement, material, and safety working in manufacturing, as well as CNC, lathe, and milling as well. So,
Now, the internship experience is one of many that they get as part of the process of them learning this industry. Is that right? They do job shadowing. They do all kind of things. To talk a little bit about why it's important for them to actually see how things are done with a manufacturer.
Gotcha. So the integral part about our program is the exposure piece, I believe. A lot of times students enter our program have no clue what manufacturing is, never heard of it, go off the old assumption that manufacturing is old and dirty. Well, in fact, that it's more advanced today. A lot of times it's often pressing a button to operate a machine to do your job for you. So teaching them how to work these machines so they can have the necessary skills in the school as well as on various work experiences. So the machines that James uses at DMF Tool has been machines that he's been trained to work in at the school.
Excellent. So let's talk about money.
Sure.
According to industry statistics, there are 20 to 30,000 vacant jobs in Chicagoland area, paying an average of $84,000 and some change, including benefits. That's real middle class income.
For sure.
What do the young people, when they come through the program, what kind of money do they earn? Because they're not there yet where they're making that level of money, but I would imagine because it is a high demand industry that they probably do better than working at a fast food chain or something. Is that true?
Yes. So for our program for paid work experiences, we offer different wages based on what the work experience is. So for spring break, the students can work over spring break, which is a week, 40 hours a week, and they can typically earn up to $400 just that week of working at various manufacturing companies, and that can lead into summer internships where students can work at their partner companies and they can earn up to $1,200 if they're a freshman, sophomore. If they're a junior and senior, they can earn up to $2,000 over the course of 6 weeks. Sometimes our companies extend internships, so they give them the availability to or the opportunity to earn more potentially. A lot of kids say, I want to work at McDonald's. I hear that often, working at the school, or I could work at Walmart. Well, when you work those jobs making the same wages with not a lot of growth for advancement, whereas in manufacturing you can start off in one department and it leads you to work in different departments, learning various skills as well as option for more money. We have participants from the program that are fresh out of high school making $19 an hour, and that's enough of livable wage to support yourself and be successful. So. And
it's a pathway to a potentially very satisfying and lucrative career as well.
Agreed.
So JT, as an employer and someone who actually is a producer of these products, why is there an interest in finding young talent and working with an organization like Manufacturing Connects? What is that? What's in it for you in that process?
Well, certainly, one is our company is growing, thankfully, and so for me, it's the ability to offer work to young people who, deserve the opportunity to learn, and I get the benefit of them doing some work that myself or another employee can be freed up to make other products. So, James was making the foam stuff so that I could focus on the metal stuff within our business. We're much smaller than a lot of other employers. However, my hope is that through this program, we will find somebody that after graduation decides to continue to work with us. So it is, for certainly my company, hopefully a pipeline of talent that we can grow with our company on the west side. So
Excellent. And I'm glad you mentioned specifically the West Side, because part of the mission of the organization is to improve the quality of life in those communities that have been hard hit by economic change over the last 30, 40 years. And manufacturing, we already know, is one of the strongest drivers of economic growth. For every single job, let's say James, for example, does join you. Well, when James joins you, the statistics indicate that another 5 related jobs are eventually going to be created. Supply chain, transportation, logistics, all the other things that have to happen to move these materials to the marketplace, to, all the, the additional things, and which makes manufacturing a really strong sort of turbocharger of economic development. While working at McDonald's, for example, service and retail jobs aren't even close in terms of the impact that they have on communities. So we applaud both of you for that work. Now, let's applaud the industry too. We've got a shot here of a couple of the young people that, let me get the thing right here. Oh, there we are. So Mieka, tell us a little bit about what these young people are doing. This is an example of a couple of young people doing internship or summer work. Is that right?
So I believe these students are actually visiting a company, and it goes with that key piece of exposure. Again, a lot of students have no clue what manufacturing is coming into the program, and so we expose them to show them what manufacturing looks like in modern day. We show them that, there's various positions that you can obtain in manufacturing that leads to the various departments that are responsible for producing a product to be produced mass scale. And so these students are visiting a company and just to see how they can see themselves there in the future.
Great, great. So that all kind of leads to the high holy day of the manufacturing industry, which is Manufacturing Day, coming up on October 4th. And what I want to do is talk a little bit about Manufacturing Day and what it means to you from the service provider side and then from the industry side. So tell me a little bit about why Manufacturing Day is such a big deal. Starting with you, Mieka.
So Manufacturing Day is a national holiday, and it's to show appreciation for products being made in the field, as well as to celebrate employees and employers for the great work that they do, because everything is manufactured, from the clothes we wear to the food we eat, and to just show the appreciation for things being made here.
Outstanding. And then it's also a way to celebrate our local manufacturers. JT,
Sure.
Speak a little bit about how Manufacturing Day can maybe impact the work that you do.
So certainly a lot of employers, such as myself, try to leverage Manufacturing Day to make people more aware. So a lot of people open their doors to schools, typically, where we understand that a 5 or 5th grader or 6th grader probably isn't going to be ready to work with me right away. But it's more about also getting the parents involved a little bit. So when they come home from Manufacturing Day, they can tell their parents what they did that day. And so the way I look at it is Manufacturing Day ideally is really targeting the parents. However, they are at work, so Manufacturing Day is really typically open the doors to school children. Has been the trend. So it's only been around a couple of years. So
Yeah, I think it's in its maybe 3rd year, if I'm not mistaken. 4th
yeah,
year.
it hasn't been around. I've been in manufacturing since 2006, and there was no special day that I can recall such until after 2010 for sure. So
Yeah. Great. Well, I think it's a very important way to begin to change the narrative. I think the industry suffers from 35-year-old information, at least in the minds of the public. They remember when we were told that the manufacturing is dead. labor moved offshore. A lot of the big companies put a lot of their operations over in Mexico or China or other places. And African American, Latin, and other communities were told, get a degree, manufacturing's over with, sorry you guys. And what they didn't tell us is that 98% of the manufacturing industry are small operations, much like your own, that have 100 employees or less. They're all around us, and we don't see them because they're sort of indiscreet or discrete little buildings.
Yes.
Many of them have been in communities, particularly older urban communities, for generations.
Yeah.
And are the real source of really good jobs and a real presence in those communities. So this is really important to maintain this industry. So we salute you that kind of found this approach and are really kind of engaging in it. So tell me, Mieka, going to switch back to kind of what's going on for manufacturing at Austin College and Career Academy. You guys have a pretty robust program planned, right?
Yes, so every year we go big with celebrating Manufacturing Day. So because it is a big exposure piece to introducing what manufacturing is to the public. So we open our doors to all the school staff, the students in the school. We'll be hosting it on the 4th floor. And we'll have partner companies come in just to do show and tell, to show students and to really bring scope of what manufacturing looks like and what their impact in manufacturing looks like. As well as we'll have alumni come back from the program, from a school, whether they're working in manufacturing or going to school and working in manufacturing, just to come back to talk about their stories, to offer encouragement and support of our program to the younger audience.
So you mentioned alum coming back. I understand there's an organization where they're organized, the Young Manufacturers Association.
Yes.
Which is essentially comprised of alum and young people that have been working in manufacturing or have worked in manufacturing. So they have some experience there. And I understand that they're the ones that do peer support and they really talk to the young people all the way through, not just on Manufacturing Day, but it's an ongoing thing. Is that correct?
Yes, we offer some mentorship from alumni to offer to the current students in the program, just to support them while they're working or support them while they're in the program, and offer encouragement, because manufacturing is a field that, often there's older people working in the field. And
Older as in smell bad or older?
older, sorry. Older
No, I'm messing with you.
people. And so to encourage them that this can be a field that they can be a part of and that there's growth and career outlook in it. So that's a good piece to encouraging the students to take manufacturing serious.
Excellent. And to JT's point, it's also a way for people in the community, for those that may not know much about manufacturing, to kind of get a taste of it in 2 hours. Right?
Yes, for sure.
I understand some big companies are coming out. Mitsubishi is one.
Yeah, we'll have Mitsubishi coming out. We'll also have, I believe, Ferrara Candy coming out to have some work, as well as workers from the company, just to come out and to share many stories of manufacturing. And we'll also have some giveaways, some games involved, so it's going to be a really fun day just to celebrate manufacturing as a whole and the impact that it has on our program. So
That's pretty neat. And I'm not going to put JT on the spot, but I am. Okay. Maybe we can get someone from DFM to come on out as well. So
I talked to Dee Dee, who's also part of the program, and the only reason that I'm not a for sure speaker is I couldn't bring the CNC mill with me. So, but yeah, they were looking for some hands-on things, but certainly I'm happy to come in and speak. So
that's great.
Yeah,
definitely. We're really pleased to have you, and I think as part of we have another organization that's under the Manufacturing Renaissance umbrella, which is called the Chicagoland Manufacturing Renaissance Council. Big, long name for basically the round table of everybody in the manufacturing community. Educators, labor, business owners, students, parents, it's sort of where everybody sits, and we try to move the industry along. And we're very excited about Manufacturing Day, that it's really begun to grow a lot. But we're also excited that the industry really is starting to walk a bit more in lockstep around some of these things. So talk a little bit, if you will, and I'm going to dive into a little policy here, JT.
Sure.
The value of supporting programs like Manufacturing Connect that are in high schools, creating this pipeline, creating the awareness. Are they valuable for employers?
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me what my policy is that It's manufacturers' responsibility to build that pipeline. I think when people talk about the skills gap, yes, there is a gap, meaning nobody went to shop class, so when they graduate, they aren't ready with basic hand tool or power tool experience, meaning they don't even know how to use a power drill.
Right.
Which is not the fault of the student. They weren't offered that class to begin with.
That's right.
However, I am of the thinking that my company is becoming more involved with programs like Manufacturing Connect because I recognize the need for it, not only for my own company, but just for just the community in general. Meaning, I want to see people at Austin or Prosser or any other of these schools proximate to me to have graduates that have gainful employment, because I think it's just better even for my own neighborhood, right? So whether they work at my company or somebody else's company, it's a win. So in terms of the policy, I do believe government should be involved. All I was simply suggesting is that I'm not waiting for another election cycle. I have things that I need to take care of tomorrow, or today, actually. So,
and there is a certain level of urgency in this, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm involved with an organization called the TMA, which is the Technology and Manufacturing
They're
Association.
Partners with us as well. Yeah,
Yes.
do great work. They do. Yeah.
They do, and some of my dues go towards lobbyists who are actually lobbying for good things, like more jobs here in Illinois. So, they're looking for different tax incentives and different, and also getting money for programs like Manufacturing Connect.
Good.
Because we recognize the need for it. So certainly education is a big component of how we produce the talent we need to continue to grow our companies.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that was very well said. And what I heard in that is that it takes legislation, it takes owners in industry, it takes community, all working together to, one, help fill the skills gap, but because it's good for everyone. When an individual makes enough money so they have discretionary spending in a community, statistics indicate that that dollar can circulate as many as 27 times within a community. When there isn't a presence of a middle-class income with discretionary income, it circulates twice. So this is really a tool to build those communities and also build these companies. So, we're all in this together. Let me say a couple of thoughts. We are very excited that JT has joined the program. What is it that we can do to continue to help you to prosper? Is it produce even better kids? Is it what kind of things can the community do, and we can help you? Okay.
Well, certainly a program like today is very helpful. My hope is that Manufacturing Connect and other programs leverage social media as much as possible. It's free, and content is king. So hopefully I can help with that a little bit as well. I've built my business off of social media and e-commerce, so I think social media is probably the next big step for nonprofits and school programs.
Excellent. Well, we'll count on you to get the rest of this out. And Mieka, just one word before we close, or we're running out of time. Anything that you want to say to the audience or to JT as we close?
Yes, thank you, JT, for our partnership, and we are happy to have James be one of your fellow interns, and he's loving the experience. You can always stay connected with us via social media or our website at mfgren.org, or on social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can search Manufacturing Renaissance and find us. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Been a great program. I want to thank both of my guests, JT Belknap and Mieka Matthews, for joining us.
Thank you.
We got a lot in a short amount of time, but stay tuned for our next show. See you then. Thanks.
Thanks.